you just allow us to love on each other? What is your problem?
I see.
What is your problem?
Which one is your problem?
The new crusading guide is his problem. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much for your understanding. Now, West Ayawaso MC initiates special cleanup exercise on the front page of the paper. Deportation of 60 fake journalists. Accreditation officer accuses GOC of direct cover-up in Australia visa scandal. And tempers are flaring up at Anglo-Gold over discrimination against Ghanaian managers. That's also on the front page of the New Weekend Crusading Guide. There's one about the NLA training NAPCO recruits on e-kiosk assembling technology. And those are the stories on the front page of the New Weekend Crusading Guide.
The Gold Street business has petroleum receipts double in 2018. Government National Insurance Commission initiate moves for insurance contracts database. Inflation rises for third consecutive time, puts upward pressure on interest rates. Back page of the Gold Street business, MTN launches 9th edition of iFest and GT Bank executives visit Otumfuo.
Now the Daily Guide is reporting this morning Collins Dowda is facing some 200 million housing deal probe, and Nana will beat Mahama again in 2020, says the EIU. But government is supposed to employ some 54,000 health workers, and Takwa youth are pushing for local MD for Anglo Gold.
The Ghanaian Observer newspaper, Akufo-Addo will beat Mahama in 2020. That's EIU report. NDC plot to smear minister exposed. The NLA story you reviewed is here, Raymond. Government pays 2.2 billion Ghana cedis as health insurance claims. Those are the stories here.
Now the police is nabbing fake currency printers on the front page of the Independent. Now government is also exposing the NDC, but there's one about Krachi who are also hailing the president Akufo-Addo and says OT region shall never forget you. Those are the stories on the front page of the Independent.
The Chronicle newspaper has that story about the importation of arms. Agalga signed for guns importation. That's Information Minister Kojo Oponkroma saying Anglo Gold denies Ghanaians chance to head Eduaprum mine. NDC panic over EIU report. Judge threatens to vacate injunction on Denchira Palace if and court orders police to produce autopsy report on Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority manager.
Now, the Ghana has signed an MOU with Slovenia on economic cooperation. Slovenia, yes. And family calls for investigations into death of Koforidua Technical University students. That's a picture of Olivia Sechi on the front page. And the National Security Minister at the Office of the President, Brian Champo, has been paying the cost of mock exams for some 1,169 students. There's also a problem with waste burning and car emissions being the major causes of air pollution in Accra. Those are the stories on the front page of the Final this morning.
The Daily Statesman newspaper, AG shreds $140 million chop in NDC's $200 million Saglemi housing deal. The other story is the 54,000 health workers expected to be recruited by the end of this year.
And I hold the very last paper before me in my hands now. Department of Parks and Gardens cleared. That's a question. Because some 140 trees, 5,000 flowers, etc., has been cut down for the construction of some multi-purpose office complex right before the nose of the department, right on their compound. They are clearing the gardens to make sure that they put up an office complex. That's on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. And prison inmates have been engaged in cleaning up Accra. There's one also about ensuring fairness, equitable development of Northeast region. President says that's his focus. Air pollution, killing 20,000 Ghanaians every single year, is what the Environmental Protection Agency is telling us in this country.
The Daily Graphic newspaper has the recruitment of 54,892 as a banner headline. But we are prepared to counter terrorists. That's national security assuring religious groups. The arms importation is also here on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Back page of the Daily Graphic, 46 to face prosecution for engaging in unlawful demonstration in Sunyani. And Graphic supports mother of kidney patient. Those are the stories on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. And Raymond, straight to you. So 20,000 people are dying every year from air pollution.
Yes, when I did a story in 2016, it was 6,400. And the situation is getting bad by the day. But let's get it clear here. In Accra alone, 2,800 die every single year from respiratory tract infections and also related to the air pollution I'm talking about in this case. Now the situation is worse for case. We lose 4,600 kids in Accra alone when it comes to what they call it, this same problem. And that's how serious it is. And imagine 4,000 coming from different family members, assuming your entire family being 4,000 in this country. I'm talking about the Ghanaian version of your family anymore. Being the what they call it, and being 4,000, and they are being wiped out because of air pollution in the country. I do recall in 2012, during his inaugural lecture, medical geographer Samuel J. Mensah explained that indeed air pollution is a very serious issue in this country, but it also depends on where you live and the extent to which you are exposed to the pollution. He did some studies. He compared Nema, Asalam Down, and also East Legon. It came out that the people in East Legon have very reduced level of pollution-related deaths because of the quality of the air in the area compared to places like Nema. And this is also because they burn fuel, waste fuel from woods and other things, and they are still using the old charcoal structures and all of that, and not using evolved systems in making sure they cook and do other things. So his conclusion was that even though we are all born into this country, when you live in Nema for the next 40, 50 years, you may not exceed the 50th year. But even though I may go up to, all things being equal, and thinking that only pollution can kill you, I may go up to 75, or maybe go way higher than that. It's a very serious condition that we don't take serious in this country. I do recall just last 2 years, the EPA promises that they have started some emission tests on cars, that they can arrest the driver, impound the car if you said it right, carbon monoxide from the cars, what they call it, exhaust pipes, are in very terrible forms, so that we don't allow these cars to be on our streets. Now, one of the reasons why we said we are going to make sure you pay extremely high amount, or we are going to ban cars that are 10 years and to coming into this country, was because these cars had very terrible emission structures. But that's not the only place we get it. I talked about the wood fuel too, and the other forms of fuel that we use in cooking in some of these restaurants and other places in the country. So all put together, we are killing ourselves. This is not somebody's doing. We are killing ourselves. We are doing it in ways that may not be very clear to you. Now, hospitals are being burdened, and the burden is extremely huge. There's some study about the disease burden. If you take out malaria, which we all know is the kingpin when it comes to killing people in this country, pollution, air pollution specifically, is number 2 on the list. And it is actually in the form of not only household pollution, but pollution from outside too. Perhaps we need a national dialogue on how best we can deal with this. I've seen some small young ladies work out a more evolved kind of charcoal, which doesn't emit as much, which doesn't cause the kind of problems that others would have it. We should be promoting similar technology to be able to deal with it.
Yeah.
First, we sought to rule out charcoal by bringing in gas. But the LPG, I can testify, is very, very expensive now. It is not a joke purchasing it at all. So at times I wonder...
Did I just sense a complaint?
Yes, because I did one...
I think Madam has collected
I
money
did one
to buy
last
gas
week.
recently.
and the worst part is that we brought in this LPG to make sure that we discourage people from using charcoal in other forms. I doubt if the poor people in this country
Can
will be
afford,
discouraged
yes.
by the LPG and its current cost. Anyway.
Good one there, Raymond. Thank you for that. Malik, so the health sector is engaging 54,892 staff?
Yes. That's according to Health Minister Kukua Jumamenu when he took his turn at the Meet the Press series yesterday.
He was also on Ekusi saying.
Absolutely on Asempa FM. And he's talking about backlog of health professionals dating back to 2012 all the way to 2018. Many of these people, especially persons who were trained in private health education facilities, many of them were unemployed because we simply didn't have the budget to employ them. And so the government, he says, by the end of this year, has obtained clearance, financial clearance for all of these 54,000 persons, 54,892 to be exact, all of them to be absorbed in the public sector of the health service. Now, he says that beyond this, government restored the nursing training allowance, and we know that they actually... Was there a launch for that, for the restoration of the...
yes, please. We did launch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he says that all of the trainees in the Ministry of Health assisted institutions, 57,000 of them, take 20.4 million Ghana cedis a month from the national coffers.
I see.
On account of these allowances. And I was just doing a simple calculation. If the 54,892 people we are going to employ, we pay each of them a minimum of 1,000 cedis, the government of Ghana would need 54,892,000 to employ them. That's a huge amount from our budget. And given that we are struggling to raise the revenues that we are targeting to raise, and there is a third consecutive rise in inflation, that's a lot of money that we have to raise to be able to pay them. But he says the government is prepared. Financial clearance has been given for all of that to happen. Also, he talked about some of the reforms that they are undertaking to provide universal health care for the Ghanaian citizenry.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that one, Malik. And temperatures have been flaring at AngloGold?
Yes, this is according to information being picked up by the New Crusading guy. Kwekubako's paper is pointing to some mountain tension there, especially at the Ejuaprim mine in Takwa in the Western region. This is because the allegation is that there is discrimination against Ghanaian top managers. According to the paper, there are reliable sources who are saying local managers are not happy about the fact that they are always sidelined when it comes to appointing the chief executive officer or managing director for the Ejuaprim mine, even though they are exceptionally qualified. Indeed, somebody is quoted as saying that even though we have the requisite competence and qualification for the topmost job, persons are brought from outside to come and manage us here. This is totally unacceptable, according to an angry man who says so. Now, since 2009, expatriates have been appointed to head the facility, much to the complaint of the people who are in this country. And the complaint is that they are brought in because they believe that they are competent and qualified. Even though the Ghanaians make similar allegations that we have Ghanaians who have also gone elsewhere to go and manage other institutions similar to AngloGold. That means that they can equally run the same institution. For instance, Billy Mawasha was from South Africa, appointed managing director in 2009, ended up his term in 2011. He was replaced by another South African, appointed in 2011, and actually ended his tenure in 2016. The complaint also is that another man from Zimbabwe took over in 2016, whose tenure is supposed to end this year in 2019. There is an agitation among the people that, as for this year, look within. Let the local content that we're talking about in these sectors reflect in the kind of people you appoint to these places. So Ghanaians can have heroes from within who have managed wonderful institutions.
Yes.
And let's be clear, we know that somebody like Sam Jonah is deemed to have done a lot of revolutionary work with
Ashanti.
Yes, Ashanti Gold. So we should find a lot of Sam Jonas around anyway.
All right, and I'm sure that there are a number of them. But good news for Akufo-Addo, Malik.
Yes. The London-based Economics Intelligence Unit is predicting that all things being equal, and it's important to emphasize this, all things being equal, and you know that the
to be equal? I don't understand.
You know, when they issue these reports, usually there are caveats.
Disclaimers.
Yes, there are caveats. If that happens, this will happen.
Okay.
If this happens, the results will be
Fair
this.
enough. Okay.
But generally, their prediction is that the president and his party will retain power in next year's elections. And this is contained in their May 13 report, a report they issued on May 13th, in which they said that it would be difficult for the opposition National Democratic Congress, under former President John Mahama, who has been elected overwhelmingly as the party's flag bearer going into the election, to portray itself as a better custodian of Ghana's economy, especially as the country's growth outlook looks fairly strong, and we know what the growth outlook is. There's been a consistent trajectory of positive growth. Of course, the NDC responds to this prediction by the EIU, and it says that, look, the growth that the report is pointing to and saying that Ghanaians will take a decision on the base of that growth is largely spurred by oil. And that oil came about as a result of investment made by former President Mahama between 2013 and 2016 or 2017.
Yeah, okay.
And that growth, by the way, does not reflect in the well-being of the Ghanaian people. Therefore, the Ghanaian people will not be hoodwinked by this growth into voting for a party which they believe has imposed a lot of hardships on the people.
Right.
And I was saying yesterday to Evans that if you go back to 2016, when the same report was issued in April 2016 and in November 2016 predicting a win for the NPP. I remember the national organizer of the NDC at the time, Mr. Kofi Adams, saying that the NPP's candidate was a survey president and that previous surveys had predicted him to win, and that he was certain that once again he will remain a survey president.
Wow, that's so cold. That's so cold. Raymond, I'm coming to you next. So parties shouldn't accept election results due to debt?
Yeah, no, they actually don't accept.
They don't, okay.
Yes, these election results due to the debt they incur over the period. And this is prediction coming from one man who's run these elections in the country for a very long time. Dr. Kojo Afarajan says from his experience, what he suspects is that sometimes, even when the evidence is very clear that this one, you've lost the election, the people, because they've taken money from people, they need to give them reasons.
Yep.
And they have to shift the blame from they being incompetent to another group of people.
Yeah.
And mostly, rigged elections is a very fine way of saying so. Oh, the election was rigged.
We won, but...
Yes, of course, but they cheated us. So if you say they cheated, that means
You
that
become a victim.
you didn't waste their money.
Yes.
You actually won, but you have become a victim of the
Yep,
system.
yep.
So,
So the next time, in fact, when you go back, they will give you.
Yeah, they will
because
give
you
you
have
more
the
money for
potential,
it.
you can win.
Yes.
the crux of what he's saying is that we need to fix political party financing and financing of elections in this country. We've been trying to talk about, and I know the IE has led a conversation on whether or not we should fund political parties, and some people have rejected it flatly. Indeed, throughout our history, the conversations have been that what can we give the political parties, and based on what criteria will we use? How do we create a level playing field? If the people who are going to be put in positions are funded by big pockets, they are going to suit these big pockets at the end of the day. So we can't complain about corruption and all the other things that happens in governance when we are sold the state prior to the election. So that is the other argument on the table. We've not decided whether we want to fund them anyway, but hopefully going into the future we may decide soon.
We may, but
so that they will stop using that one excuse, so that I find new ones.
Have you ever had any conversation that has satisfied you when it comes to political party funding in Ghana?
Oh no, only in academia.
No.
When you step out of academia, it's like
Theoretically, right? I get that. It's a big issue. And Malik, I think we have time for one more story from you. The Attorney General shreds over 140 million chop.
Yes. So the Attorney General Gloria Ekufu is advising the Ministry of Works and Housing to not allow this contract, which the company that was supposed to build 5,000 homes at Saglebi, the Saglebi housing projects, at the cost of 200 million, the contract which was subsequently varied to 1,502 houses instead of 5,000 at the same cost, that the ministry must retrieve all of the money that has been paid to this company for not executing the contract. In fact, she says that the ministry must enforce what the lawyers call specific performance. If you enter into a contract for a certain value to do a particular job, A, B, and C, the company must be forced to do exactly that. That the company should not be allowed to enjoy or benefit from an unlawful review of the number of houses that were supposed to have been constructed at this 200 million, review it to 1,502 at the same cost. That's essentially what her argument is, and that there is no legal basis at all for the company to now come and issue a notice of termination. That the contract, by the way, terminated or it expired. And it expired in 2017, in June 2017. So currently, there's actually no contract for anybody to be arguing over. That the company cannot issue a notice of termination when the contract had already terminated. What the ministry should do is to reclaim the money or force them to build the 5,000 houses.
Right, okay. Well, thank you, Malik, for that one. Thank you, Raymond. The online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank, in your best interest, and GOIL, Good Energy. Make your day productive by relying on quality fuel from GOIL, your 3-time CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year. GOIL Super XP and Diesel XP are additivated to enhance strong engine performance and prolong the lifespan of your vehicle. Above all, you're guaranteed extra quality with a full analyzer from our mobile laboratory van. Get your money's worth every day by buying fuel and lubricants from any of GOIL's over 360 service stations nationwide and experience good energy. Buy GOIL, grow Ghana. GOIL, Good Energy. GOIL, Yenara Yedia. And you can go light with Zenith Bank and have dinner on us at the plush African Regent Hotel. Now, isn't that exciting? To enjoy this offer, simply use any MasterCard to make a minimum purchase of 500 Ghana cedis on a Zenith Bank point of sale at the African Regent Hotel and be rewarded with a free dinner or a discount of 100 Ghana cedis on other meal options. Visit the African Regent Hotel today. Use any MasterCard on a Zenith Bank POS and have dinner on us. Go light with Zenith Bank. Pay light. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Now, myjoyonline.com is reporting Ghanaians could travel to EU countries with Ghana card. That's according to Professor Atefo. Now, he's saying that once you have the Ghana card, you may be able to travel to any EU country, but this is dependent on whether Ghana successfully signs onto a pending protocol agreement with the European Union. And remember that we're asking the question this morning about any difficulties that you've encountered in the process of getting your Ghana card. Text us. The text lines are open 0244 340 437. We want to know what's been going on with you in terms of the Ghana card. NDC issued permits for arms importation 2 days before leaving office, the government reveals. Now, the government has said the permits for the importation of some arms into the country, for which the opposition NDC has raised concerns, was actually signed by the party before it left in 2017. Accusing the opposition of double standards, the Information Minister, Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, said, yes, he was speaking on Newsnight yesterday with Evans Mensah.
Good morning to him.
Raymond is saying good morning to the minister. Malik.
Why have you left me out? I'm saying good morning.
Okay, we are all saying good morning to you this morning. Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. He said at a news conference yesterday that they discovered the permits pursuant to which this importation had been done. Adum Online, pupils, teachers displaced after fire razed classroom blocks. So the pupils and teachers of Ampeyo Krofrom DA Junior High School near Kumasi in the Ashanti region arrived in school Thursday morning to the shocking sight of their burnt classroom block. Also, Facebook bans Israeli firm targeting Africa. Facebook has banned an Israeli company believes was behind hundreds of fake accounts, pages and groups, mostly targeting elections in 6 African countries. You can check out that story on adumonline.com. Malik and Raymond, thank you very much for joining us. We're always grateful to have you.
It was a privilege.
It was an honor.
Okay.
Your Royal Highness.
Thank you, guys. And so coming up at 7 o'clock is BBC News at 7.
I have a guest here that I would like to bring up to share right now. I want you to she's going to bless us in a mighty way right now. I want you to welcome to the stage Shayna Wilson Williams. All right?
Good energy powers the things that people do to empower themselves. It fuels families, communities, businesses. Good energy fuels nations. It gets things going and keeps them moving. Good energy isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Goyle, good energy.
As an executive, every transaction needs to be swift and convenient.
Kindly enter your PIN to authorize the transaction, sir. Here's your purchase, sir.
I travel light with Zenith Bank. It's faster. It's smarter.
I appreciate the little things. Whether I'm topping up airtime, paying for pizza, or my DSTV subscription, I live light with Zenith Bank. It's faster. It's smarter.
Whether you're buying, selling, on the move, or just going through life, Zenith Bank's vast array of digital banking products and services such as payment cards, POS terminals, the bank's mobile banking application, Z-Mobile, and many more help you carry out your transactions faster and smarter. Go light with Zenith Bank. It's faster. It's smarter. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Atongo, if you that, long time.
Coachman, it be me. Oh, look, I go for training for abroad. Though. Now I get a doctorate for psychology. I go for training for some fresh Interplast pipe.
Hey, Atongo Bidato, you always have something new from Interplast.
See this pipe be very durable and correct. You fit say it be very potent. Look, like it be medicines, if it could a bit Viagra serve. I could do press conference soon, you know. I could tell the whole world how my new pipes go fit stop global warming. It be go fit face the desert heat, Eskimo cold, even the Swiss canal.
Atongo, it no be global warning, it be warming.
I mean, all be the global now, whether warning or warming. See, it be the press conference where you go see why everybody for use PVC and HDPE pipes from Interplast. Interplast pipes be the best pipes. Very soon, Akosumbo and Boy themselves. Look, they don't go wait for rain because I go delay the HDPE pipes from the Red Sea and even global warning.
Hey, Atongo Bidato, international plumber with international pipes.
Interplast, wherever you are, we make sure water reaches you, even space.
The BBC News at 7 a.m. is brought to you by Fidelity Bank Limited. Believe with us, and Shell Fuel Save, feeling New Year deep.
On the island. This week, a U.S. court awarded a couple $2 billion in damages in their cancer claim against the chemical giant Bayer over the use of the weed killer Roundup. The company's appealing the decision. We hear from both sides.
I've been in bedridden for months. I've been sick enough to not be able to walk. Certain things just got taken away. Just riding bikes with my sons through the neighborhood, it just was over.
And how do you combat men who insist on dominating the conversation? Apparently knitting is the answer. Find out more in the next half hour. That's coming up after the latest World News.
BBC News. Hello, I'm Jerry Smith. Taiwan's parliament has passed a law that will allow same-sex couples to form exclusive permanent unions and apply for a marriage registration. Thousands of supporters of same-sex marriage had gathered outside Taiwan's parliament as it decided whether to legalise such unions. Victoria Shi, the founder and executive director of the Taiwan Alliance to Promote Civil Partnership Rights, welcomed the news.
Finally, Taiwan will become the first country to legalize gay marriage in Asia. We are still in the process of monitoring the voting because the most critical article is Article 4 that guarantees the registration of marriage for same-sex couples. Article 20, it's about adoption rights. So later that would be voted and we will continue our observation about the results.
The United States has terminated Turkey's status as a preferential trading partner. The move, announced in a White House statement, takes effect immediately and means that certain Turkish exports will no longer be able to enter the US on a tariff-free basis. Here's Jonathan Josephs.
President Trump is already fighting trade battles on several fronts, but has chosen to follow through on his threats to Turkey. He signed an executive order which says the country's living standards are now high enough to mean this extra help is no longer justified. At the same time, tariffs on Turkish steel have been halved to 25%. They were increased last year as diplomatic tensions between the NATO allies rose.
Court documents released in the United States revealed that the former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn gave the special counsel Robert Mueller information about multiple attempts to obstruct the Russia investigation. The documents state that the attempts came from people linked to President Trump's administration or Congress in communications between them and Michael Flynn or his attorneys. Mr. Mueller wrote that those communications could have affected Michael Flynn's willingness to cooperate with the investigation. The call by President Trump to toughen border security and refocus the U.S. immigration system has been criticized by both Democrats and groups that want to restrict immigration. Mr. Trump said younger, better educated English-speaking workers should make up more than half of all legal immigrants. The Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who came to the U.S. from Somalia, is appalled by the proposals.
It is quite devastating to hear the way that he speaks about humans who are just looking for a new day, who are looking to start anew, who are running from devastating situations. I was one of those. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to come to a country like the United States, to have the education that I have received, to get the privilege of having my children be born here.
World News from the BBC. The US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has expressed concern about plans by Hong Kong's Legislative Assembly to allow extraditions to the Chinese mainland. Speaking as he met the veteran Hong Kong pro-democracy leader Martin Lee in Washington, Mr. Pompeo said the proposed changes threaten the territory's rule of law. The bill has faced huge opposition, with critics saying it would be a significant blow to Hong Kong's semi-autonomous status. Talks between the British government and the main opposition Labour Party to try to come up with a Brexit deal are about to end without an agreement. The discussions have been going on for 6 weeks, but there have been growing indications that they aren't making any progress. Yesterday, Theresa May agreed to set a timetable for her to step down as Prime Minister. A team of Italian researchers is calling for compulsory measles vaccinations for children starting primary school. In a study focusing on developed countries, the researchers say mandatory vaccinations would ensure that enough people would be immune. They say voluntary vaccination programs are now not enough to protect populations from further measles outbreaks. One of the world's best-known architects, I.M. Pei, has died at the age of 102. Mr. Pei, who was born in China, moved to the United States as a teenager to attend architecture school. His buildings include the John F. Kennedy Library in Boston and a museum in Doha. But his best-known design was probably the controversial glass pyramid at the Louvre Museum in Paris. Mr. Pei said designing big public structures required an awareness of the past.
Public buildings have to be symbolic. It reflects a history and a civilization. Very difficult to do in our times because we tend to want our buildings to be a bit laid back. We have to find the essence of the time to express them in architecture.
BBC News.
Keep smiling this Ramadan season. We at Fidelity Bank want to keep you smiling. Choose Fidelity Bank to redeem all your remittances and we'll reward you instantly. Redeem your remittances via Unity Link, Western Union, MoneyGram or any other remittance service at any Fidelity branch and we'll reward you instantly with free airtime. Redeem your remittances and smile. Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
The human brain makes a million decisions every minute. What time to leave work? What route will be faster to take home? The highway or the shortcut? It's all very exhausting and you haven't started the car yet. Give your mind a rest and with one less decision to think about. Your fuel. Shell Fuel Save are regular fuels designed by Shell scientists to last longer at no extra cost. Now you can make more rounds with the same amount of fuel you buy. Fill up today with Shell Fuel Save.
Yes, our music lives and will be live on display at the 20th VGMAs on Saturday, 18th May. A night like no other. Performing live, the 4S, Sarkodie, Shatawale, Stonebwoy and Samini, the 4Ks, Kwame Eugene, Kwesiatha, Kitty and Kim Promise, plus AMG Medical, Diana Hamilton, Abrantia Machidede, Burna Boy, Casper in Your Vest, and more. Be part of history. Purchase tickets via Vodafone Cash and enjoy a 10% discount or buy at Nalem shops at the mall. From Charterhouse for 400 Ghana cedis platinum and 250 Ghana cedis gold. For balcony tables, call 0501 288 520. The 20th VGMA, supported by TV3, DSTV, GoTV, MTV Base, KPMG, Standard Chartered, Joy FM, and proudly brought to you by Vodafone. Experience real 4G on Ghana's only gigabit network.
The future is exciting. Ready?
It's the most action-packed breakfast show in town. The hottest music, the best giveaways, the great interviews, and all the laughter and fun you can imagine. Don't miss the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. It's the best breakfast show in town.
When you say you love somebody, you got to let them know about
BBC News at 7 a.m. is brought to you by Fidelity Bank Limited, believe with us, and Shell Fuel Save, filling New Year deep. Go light with Zenith Bank and have dinner on us at the plush African Regent Hotel. Now, isn't that exciting? To enjoy this offer, simply use any MasterCard to make a minimum purchase of 500 Ghana cedis on a Zenith Bank point of sale at the African Regent Hotel and be rewarded with a free dinner or a discount of 100 Ghana cedis on any other meal options. Visit the African Regent Hotel today, use any MasterCard on a Zenith Bank POS and have dinner on us. Go light with Zenith Bank. Pay light. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Keep smiling this Ramadan season. We at Fidelity Bank want to keep you smiling. Just choose Fidelity Bank to redeem all your remittances and we'll reward you instantly. Redeem your remittances via Western Union, MoneyGram, Unity Link, Ria Money Transfer and others at any Fidelity Bank branch and we'll reward you with free airtime. Redeem your remittances and smile. Fidelity Bank, believe with us. Terms and conditions apply. For us at Shell, your satisfaction is what we value the most. And that's why we have always been first and continue to offer all the good things you and your car deserve for a smoother journey. Shell Fuel Save is Shell's most advanced economy fuel with active efficiency ingredients designed to last longer at no extra cost. Shell Fuel Save is designed to improve engine efficiency from the very first tank fill, which can help your car consume less fuel. Yes, all these are possible with Shell. It is time to switch to Shell Fuel Save and save more. Drive to the nearest Shell service station and fill up with Shell Fuel Save to enjoy the savings. Shell, where good things happen. Coming up is the Nestle Nutrition Line and is brought to you by Nestle. Nestle offers good food for a good life.
Hey, nowadays there's also new things, so I know they wreck yourself.
This small shadow way they talk. You see, I kind of hot.
Sir, why you dey enjoy some cocoa drink like that? Hey.
Why, you don't know Chocolim?
Chocolim that? Where? It change, oh. I know Recam Cra.
I know. Chocolim get this hot new look and it be the same great taste.
Madam, you're gonna hot why? Mambako. Yeah, kind of hot. Chocolim now comes in a hot new look, same great taste. Also comes in a 20-gram sachet. Chocolim. Enjoy the taste, feel the goodness.
This advertisement has been approved and vetted by the FDA.
This is Nestle Nutrition Line. Nestle Nutrition Line is a public service program from Nestle Ghana Limited. Nestle Nutrition Line offers tips on good food for a good life. Now to your presenter.
Hello. Good morning. How are you today? Another day is here and we've got plenty opportunity. I'm Na Ajelisowa, known as Jackie Ankra, and you're so special, truly precious, and I'm glad that you're here. Today we're discussing the impact of excessive sugar consumption on adolescents who are involved in competitive sports. Adolescents are in a rapid growth and development phase in their lives, which requires extra nutrients. This is further magnified among adolescents who are sportsmen or women, since they need extra energy to compensate for what is lost during training and competition. One way these young sportsmen or women can get extra energy to help them train and compete is to use sports drinks before and after training or events. These sports drinks, however, are full of sugar as well as electrolytes. While sports drinks are appropriate for use by these competitive athletes under the guidance of a coach, many adolescents continue to use it even when they stop competing in sports because they're used to it. These extra calories can contribute to weight gain and obesity since they're not training as much as they used to. Therefore, adolescents who engage in sports but then stop training and competing will need to learn to adjust their diets accordingly and reduce intake of table sugar and other sugary beverages or foods in order to keep them healthy. time to part sweet company for the day. I hope we've put enough sugar in your morning so you don't need any extra. 0302-517-020. Toll free 0800 120001. You can email us consumerservices@gh.nestle.com. Now, as I leave you, I'd like to ask you please to take control of your life and your destiny. Don't leave your problems to others. Take the first step. Meet the challenge and begin the transformation that takes the negatives away from you. Have a great day.
Hey, nowadays there's also new things, so I know they wreck yourself. This small shadow way they talk. You see, I kind of hot. Sir, why they enjoy some cocoa drink like that? Hey. Why, you don't know Chocolim? Chocolim that, where? It change, oh, I know wreck am cry. I know. Chocolim get this hot new look, and it be the same great taste. Madam, you're gonna hot, why? Mambako. Yeah, kind of hot. Chocolim now comes in a hot new look, same great taste. Also comes in a 20-gram sachet. Chocolim, enjoy the taste, feel the goodness.